Hey guys, what's going on? It's Friday and it's the end of the week, and I want to keep true to my promises to vlog every Friday and answer some of the questions that you guys have asked. So this question comes from a reader in Baylor, Texas, who asks, are tattoos wrong? And I love this question because it hasn't been the first time that I've been asked this question. And when I spoke to the youth pastor that I was working under about this, he was so dogmatic that tattoos were totally wrong and completely, it's founded in the Bible. And he took me to the Leviticus passage in Leviticus 19. I'll read it to you in the New Living Translation, which specifically says the word tattoos. But Leviticus 19:28 says this: "Do not cut your bodies for the dead, and do not mark your skin with tattoos. I am the Lord." And I think it's very important to take a look at this verse in context. Because if we are to highlight that scripture and make it a pretext for a context, we're taking that scripture out of text. And that's where it gets a little confusing. Now, the scriptures before that also speak about eating non-kosher meat. So are you going to give up like chorizo and hamburgers and pork and stuff like that? Or are you not going to trim the sides of your hair or the end of your beards? Because it also speaks that law for the Levites. So it's kind of important that I'm not a Levite, but also take in the cultural context of the time is that this was mandated because the Lord wanted them to be consecrated and set apart from the pagan idolatrous worship that was going on at that time. So I think it's really important to really ask, is tattooing a form of pagan worship today? And that's where it gets a little bit muddled, and people, either want to be dogmatic on both sides. I think it really shouldn't be, the question shouldn't be, is a tattoo okay for a Christian? More along the lines is a tattoo okay for me? And some questions you should ask yourself before you make this lifetime commitment is, is this going to glorify God? What are my reasons? What are my motives in doing this? If it's going to drive a wedge in between your marriage because your spouse is completely against them or has the conviction that tattoos are totally wrong, don't do it. If a tattoo is going to cause you to disobey your parents, don't do it. If a tattoo is going to be placed in a spot where it may stumble some believers and you go to a very conservative church or something, don't do it. For me personally, I don't have tattoos. And unless someone looks like Wentworth Miller, aka Michael Scofield from Prison Break, maybe you shouldn't get one. Or at least put it in a spot where it's like, totally noticeable, because people are going to ask you about this tattoo. And I subscribe to the school of thought is like everything we do should glorify God. And if you're going to get a tattoo of something highly inappropriate, maybe it's not the best thing. For me personally, I don't want to get a tattoo and then like 30 years down the road, it's like, it goes from like a heart to like a blob or something because my skin's all stretched out. So I really like taking all decisions that I make in my life that maybe not are universal sins, which speaks specifically about sins that are forbidden by God, but particular sins where we need a little bit of clarification. I take it back to Romans 14, which is this. Romans 14:23. Everything that does not come from faith is sin. So I need to ask, what are my motives in doing this? If the Bible remains silent on certain movies or on television or on certain music, I need to do a heart check. Why am I doing this? Is this tattoo going to draw people close to the Lord? Can I use it to minister? Is it something private? Am I going to get a spot where no one else will see it except maybe like my spouse or something? So I hope it brings a little bit of clarification. I don't necessarily have a dogmatic yes or no. I think that the question shouldn't be, should Christians get tattoos? More along the lines of, should you get a tattoo? Check your heart, check your motives. Thanks. See you next week.